Hi everybody, this is Everyday Commentary, and this is a video overview of this knife. And this knife is the Cold Steel Compensator. They call it the Cold Steel Espada XL, but what it really is it is as much a compensation device as any sports car. This is a knife that is just gigantic. And you got a full two hands on the handle. And yes, there will be 1 million innuendos in this video. The knife is the blade itself is made of CTS XHP, which is a great powder metallurgy steel made in America by Carpenter Steel. This particular knife has a nice DLC coating, which is much better than the traditional cold steel coating, and by that I mean paint. It runs G10. There is an upgraded version of the Espada that runs polished either G10 or micarta with an aluminum bolster and an aluminum piece back here. The knife is just gigantic. It's a 7.5-inch blade with that weighs 14.2 ounces. I mean, it's just huge. So like that's the Espada XL, and this is the William Henry EDC6. Well, this is a small-ish knife, but that's just a gigantic knife. I mean, it's just crazy, crazy, crazy big. And so, you know, no one's going to really carry this. Like, there's only one person that actually needs and would use a knife like this, and since I am not an enforcer for a motorcycle gang, I am not that person. But I was really kind of surprised. For all of the Mall Ninja bullshit that goes along with Cold Steel products, this one's not too bad. It's actually, look how thin it is, compared to, say, like one of the knives I carried today, which was the Kershaw Speedform 2. This knife is actually a little thinner than the Speedform 2, which is crazy because it's like way, way thicker. But one of the things that's nice is, even though this knife is gigantic, you can still kind of put this in a pair of jeans. Like, I put it in a pair of jeans today, and I went outside the house, and I walked around. I couldn't run. I mean, you can't run. You can't run with this. This is like having a splint on. But it wasn't like carrying a hammer in my pocket, which, by the way, just so you have a size comparison, there's a hammer. I'm recording in my workshop because my wife's upstairs doing work. But that's a hammer. That's like a regular, like, go to the store, buy it off the shelf, you know, workforce hammer. It's crazy. That's a big hammer. And this is a big knife. As you can see, there's a nice clip point here. It's a clip point blade. The knife is incredibly wide. It is super, super wide. I mean, in the pocket, it's thin, but it's really wide. And in fact, I think one of the reasons why it's so awkward in the pocket isn't necessarily the length, though that is a factor, I'm not going to lie. It's how wide the knife is. But the handle is you know, nice. It's got, let's see if I can, boom! Yeah, there you go. Two hands. But you can do grip down here and like get tons and tons of range. Or you can do grip here, get a little bit more control. You can get grip here, get a little bit more. I mean, all of them still feel like you're dialing a telephone with a broom handle. Boop, boop, boop. Because, like, you know, you're a foot away from the thing that you're cutting. But, you know, like, you're not going to be cutting newspaper articles out with this thing or clipping coupons. But it's not bad in the hand. That's not a bad grip. That's not a bad grip either. That's not bad. It's, jeez, let's see. It's like completely unwieldy in a reverse grip or like an ice pick grip. It just doesn't work. It's too heavy, too front heavy. And the balance point is probably like right here. I mean, it's just, there's so much steel that it's not working. One thing that's nice is that they have very limited liners. You can see them. Let me see if I can get you, boom. Too much. Oh. This new Baton UI is not my favorite, as you can tell. The liners kind of go to like right about here, and then they stop. And it gives the knife plenty of beefiness. The one thing that I would note is, as comfortable as the handle is, the G10 is still a little rough. I mean, you know, like look, it no longer has a sharp edge. Let's see if I can actually do some sanding. So this is a piece that I cut off the bandsaw like an hour ago. It's got a little lip. Let's see. Yeah, oh, that did pretty good. Yeah, it took that lip completely off. Let's see. I'll take it off again. Ah, look at that. Ah. Yeah. It's not as bad as the cold steels used to be, which is saying a lot because it's still sanded this, and this is maple. So, you know, it's crazy grippy G10. I don't like that being that grippy, but what are you going to do? The one thing that's really kind of strange is the lock, the triad lock is definitely awesome. I have no doubt that like I could, you know, hang an elephant baby off of it or something. But there's some serious blade play here. I mean, we're talking, let's see if I can find a tape measure. Good thing I shot this one in my workshop. Okay. Alright. Now, let's see if I can get this to work. How much wiggle is in this blade? Yeah, so it looks like I'm getting probably a 1/16 of an inch of blade play, which is a lot, but it's actually not that bad because you have to compare it. I mean, you're taking it from this to this, right? Like at the very tip. Whereas most knives, you're talking from the pivot to like 3 inches out. So when you add this extra 4.5 inches, you're going to get more blade play at the tip than you would with like a 3-inch blade. Obviously, it's just like basic geometry. There is some, well, not some. There's quite a bit of up and down blade play, which again I wouldn't expect for such a beefy lock. And I've had the Mini Recon, and it has the triad lock, and it was fine. There was no blade play at all. Again, I think this just might be the fact that like this is the biggest knife in the world. It's ridiculously big, and so there's some blade play in it. It's just going to be, it's a natural thing. You're not going to be able to get rid of it. And no, I did not burn myself. I was working on a Halloween costume with some spray paint. This thing is just huge. It's giant. It weighs, you know, almost a pound, and it's totally 100% ridiculous. The handle is actually quite comfortable. The pocket clip is, you know, decent. The pocket clip is the size of a knife, right? Like it's the size of a, you know, a smallish folder, which is ridiculous. I don't understand why Cold Steel can't figure out how to do ambidextrous pocket clips, because, you know, there's a attachment point here, but you get an extra clip in the box. Like, we can't figure out how to do something that everybody else in the industry has done. But, you know, not the worst thing in the world. The idea that you're going to open this knife one-handed is ridiculous, just like the whole knife. I mean, like, there's no way that you're going to one-hand open this knife in any sort of environment other than, like, you know, biker gang enforcer situation. The thumb plate here is clearly an infringement on the intellectual property of Ernie Emerson. It acts exactly like a wave. There is no distinction between this and a wave. It doesn't even have the bottle opener feature that like the DPX rapid deployment hook has. It is just a wave made by a thumb plate. I do have to say, unfortunately for Ernie, this one works better. It hooks better, it hooks more reliably, and I cannot think of anything in the world less intimidating than opening this knife using the wave feature, other than like having a firearm. Like, this is it. Like, a lion roaring and this knife opening via the wave feature, it is crazy intimidating. Those are like equal, and then you have the things that are above that, which are like guns. It's nutty. One thing that people don't really mention is just how wide the knife is. Like, look at this. Kaboom! Like, I thought, man, that pivot's really wide. But no. Right here. This is crazy. It's like a roller coaster. It's just gigantically wide. And, you know, not too bad in the pocket because it's so thin and it's got a nice D shape to it. But, this is a video overview of the Espada XL. A written review of this knife is definitely coming. And, yeah, totally 100% ridiculous.